Greetings, my fellow Fright Fiends. It's your buddy Boogeyman Ben here for a new episode of Boogeyman Ben's Horror Zone, and today's video is going to be talking about a movie that I just saw in theaters today. Of course, I'm talking about the 8th film in the Saw franchise. The movie is called Jigsaw, and I was really excited to go and see this film in the theater. I absolutely love the Saw franchise. It's one of my favorite horror franchises of all time. What was really cool is that my brother-in-law and I have a tradition of always seeing these in the theater, and our tradition kind of ended, in 2010 when Saw the Final Chapter came out, so it was really nice for him and I to get together and go see this film today. It was just a blast. We went to the earliest showing. There was 4 people in the theater, which was great. It was just something I never thought I'd see. I didn't know if we would see a sequel to Saw 7. This was kind of it's not really a direct sequel to Saw 7, but it is in the same universe. It's not a reboot, which I thought they were going to do. So it does pick up after the end of the first, 7 films. To give you a little insight into what the plot deals with, so pretty much you have this new game that's in play. It's a new game. All signs point to the Jigsaw killer, John Kramer, orchestrating this new game. But it's impossible because John Kramer has been dead for 10 years. So you have bodies that are turning up all over the city, and you have detectives that are racing against the clock. Find out who's orchestrating this new game and stop them before more people die. For the cast, you have Tobin Bell, the amazing Tobin Bell, returning as John Kramer, aka the Jigsaw Killer. You have Matt Passmore as Logan Nelson. You have Calum Keith Renee as Detective Halloran, and then Hannah Emily Anderson as Eleanor Bonneville. The movie was written by Peter Goldfinger and Josh Stolberg. And the movie was directed by Michael and Peter Spierig. They did Daybreakers. But it was kind of neat to see some new directors picking up the reins of this franchise. Was really hoping that the new film would be good. And that it would be faithful to what's come before and take the story a step further. And I was really happy with Jigsaw. I actually really enjoyed it. There were a couple things that I wasn't crazy about, and it is not my favorite film in the Saw franchise, but I did think it was really well done. The film looks a lot different. It doesn't have the same grittiness that Darren Lynn Bousman, James Wan, and Kevin Gruder brought to it during the original run of the series. I didn't think some of the traps were as strong as in the previous Saw films. They just didn't stand out to me as much, which is unfortunate. There were a couple I really enjoyed, but I felt like they weren't as creative. I really felt like the traps in the other films, they just got more and more creative as they went along, and I thought that they were a little bit lacking in this film. There is some really good ones towards the end of the film, but in terms of, just the consistency of how the traps worked, I just thought they were a little lacking. Another thing that was lacking in the film was the gore. And I really felt like it was tame. This was a very tame movie compared to the other ones that have come before it. A lot of stuff was reaction shots and cutaways. And there were a couple of gore moments, but they were almost done out of focus, which I thought was different. Again, this could be a stylistic decision based on, who was directing it. You go to a Saw film for the gore. You go to a Saw film for the over-the-top traps, and I just felt like those two things were kind of lacking in this film, unfortunately. That's not to say I didn't enjoy the film. I really enjoyed the film a lot. I really like Calum Keith Rennie. I've seen him in a couple of things. He was on The Dead Zone. I saw him in Californication. Everything I see him in, he's great. I also thought Matt Passmore as Logan Nelson was really excellent in the film. Tobin Bell is just another, gives another amazing performance. And I don't want to give too much of the film away because, of course, as with every Saw, there is a twist at the end. And it was one that a lot of people said they figured out, but I kind of figured out something was going to happen, but I didn't figure out that was what was going to happen. So, yeah, I think that the Jigsaw is a worthy, worthy chapter into the Saw franchise. I hope that maybe we'll see John Kramer come back and the Saw franchise see another Jigsaw film. I really miss those films coming out every Halloween. It was kind of like a tradition, and I miss a film series being like that. I really, akin to Friday the 13th, where every year during the 80s you pretty much got a new Friday the 13th, and I felt the same way about Saw. But yeah, I really enjoyed Jigsaw. If you're a Saw fan, I definitely recommend going and checking it out. It's got some good performances. Like I said, the traps were a little bit lacking. Not as much gore as I would have liked, because that's just, what I've come to expect from a Saw film. So in that regard, it was a little disappointing, but not but nothing that, you know, would make me not give it a favorable review and recommend it to people that are fans of the franchise. I actually thought the story was really interesting, and I think the execution and the ending really made the film strong. And I've said this about the Saw films in the past as well. If you cut out all the gore, there's still really good stories. And I have to say the same thing here. I just had expectations, and especially the trailer that was showing what some of these traps would be. I was just expecting some of those big gore moments that we had come to expect, especially given the Saw franchise's history. But like I said, really enjoyed it. Would definitely recommend it. Can't wait to add it to my collection. And I will give Jigsaw 3.5 skulls. So that is my review of Jigsaw. I'm curious if anybody else has seen it. Please, if you have, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Would love to hear what other people that are fans of this franchise have thought about it. And if you're new to the Saw franchise and this is the first Saw film that you've seen, if Jigsaw is the first film in the series that you've seen, let me know what your thoughts are as well. But please, no spoilers for people, you know, just because the film is still relatively new, it's still in theaters, and I don't want to spoil things for people that are actually going to go and see this in the theaters. So that's it. I hope everyone enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for some more cool horror movie reviews that I will have coming up in the next week. So take care, everyone. Thanks so much for watching. Stay scared as always. Peace.